Hi, welcome to my DAoC Fundamentals video. In this video, I will outline the basic things that differentiate bad DAoC players from good ones. The reason I made this video is because while there are many websites that can give you a good template, a good spec, and even a good group setup, there are none that actually show you how to play the game. Even well-played videos do not show you how to play correctly. Many people would tell you that there isn't much skill involved in this game, and that what I tell you right now really doesn't matter. However, they are wrong, because the skill required for this game is not reflexes, but it is efficiency. Think of the game as an assembly line. One process flows into the next and so on. The key is being able to minimize the unnecessary movements so that the most important processes are given the most time. I guarantee you, if you follow all the ideas shown in this video, you will be twice as fast as the best Counter-Strike player who has just picked up the game. So enough with the what and the why, and let's get started on the how. Part 1. The mouse. The mouse has three main functions: mouse look, mouse pan, and targeting. First, let's look at mouse look. In game, do /keyboard and find mouse look. You should bind it to right click if you have not already. Why use mouse look? In one word, speed. Look at how much faster I can turn using my mouse versus using turn keys. That's both with the mouse and now with the turn keys. Okay, that was simple. Now let's look at mouse pan. In game, do /keyboard and find mouse pan. You should bind this to left click or another key on your mouse. Why use mouse pan? For awareness all around your character when you are moving or facing something. And lastly, we have targeting. Anyone who has played the game knows how to target. But it is important to note that the mouse can only do one task at a time. Whether mouse look, mouse pan, or target, to do one, you can't do any of the others. This is all for part 1, but we will come back to that point again, so remember it. Part 2. The keyboard. There are 3 sections to this part as well. They are divided into movement keys, other standard keys, and /qbind everything. First, let's look at movement keys. Of course, this starts to push into the realm of personal preference, but it is really impossible to play this game well using the arrow keys. Most players use WASD, which is perfectly fine. However, I prefer ESDF, with W and Q as up and down keys. This provides you with more qbinds, which is very important, as I will show in the coming sections. You may, as I like to do, get rid of your strafe keys for even more qbinds. Why no arrow keys? There are simply not enough easy-to-hit keys near them. Now let's look at some other standard keys. You will need to have these extra keys within easy reach of your left hand, and if you can fit a few on your mouse, that would be even better. Stick, face, run lock, reset camera, sprint, attack mode, nearest enemy, and last attacker. Last but definitely not least, /qbind everything. Yes, I said everything, even if you have to use shift keys. Why can't I click any of my spells, styles, or items? Remember what I said in part 1 about the mouse. If you are clicking anything on your toolbars, you are definitely not turning, panning, or targeting. So just don't do it. This is the single biggest efficiency killer in DAoC. So much so that I wish you weren't allowed to click anything on your bars outside of PvE. Remember, your mouse is already overloaded with tasks, so don't click. Here we have an example keyboard setup using the fundamentals learned in this part. This is a Banelord Blade Master. It is important to note that the most important and often used keys are closest to the movement keys. Also, styles such as Ice Storm and Snow Shower are grouped together to allow them to be easily backed up. Apart from your targeting mouse look and mouse pan, your mouse should include some buttons for extra binds. Also, artifacts and pots can easily be bound to F keys for easy access. Part 3. The User Interface. You don't need a fancy UI, but there are a few things to keep in mind. The topics for this part are /set camera, use numbers 1 through 5, and the healer's helper. Let's see what set camera is all about. For full awareness, it is best to have your camera panned out as far as possible. To do this, in-game, do /keyboard and find pan camera. Using that button, push your view out as far as possible. Then type /set camera. Now whenever you hit your reset camera, it will reset to the panned out view. Use numbers 1 through 5. Plan on using numbers 1 through 5 if you use WASD. Anything farther should be used for less than crucial keys. Everything else should be qbound. The healer's helper. This handy little group window is nice for healing types to easily recognize damage, target, and heal. The problem is you have to click. So unless you want to target your group mates with 8 different keys, which doesn't seem that practical, you will have a bit of trouble in hectic situations in RVR with your mouse. To alleviate this, put your healer's helper as close to the center of the screen as possible, which will minimize the distance your cursor will have to travel. Part 4. Putting it all together. Now that you have seen all the basics that this game requires, how do you actually learn how to play this way? You can't possibly learn this stuff overnight, so start with PvE. If panning is new to you, pan while killing mobs, doing quests, or just even chatting with friends. The only way to be able to do all these things effectively is to make them an unconscious habit. Lastly, be creative. Play around with your setup and use what works best. Change your mouse sensitivity and find a nice middle ground for speed and accuracy. If this video is popular, I may do a video based on 8-man tactics. So tell me what you thought about it by dropping me a PM on the VN boards. Thanks for watching.